is king! Christ is king! Christ is king!
Let all that you do be done in love. A Christian, when they see their society collapsing around them, doesn't cower or run in fear. He doesn't stick his head in the sand and hope that it will all change and just go away and be all right. He doesn't throw up his hands and say all is lost. A true man, when he sees a challenge, he rises to the challenge. He digs deep within his own soul to find the strength to do what is necessary to meet the challenge in front of him. And this is what, as Christians, we are called to do. That means that when we see our society collapsing around us, we don't run away. We don't go and join the opposition as Andrew Tate did. We don't despair. No, as Christians, we stand up for that which is good and true and noble. The tutelage of our Lord Jesus Christ calls us to bear our cross and to suffer in his way. It is not permissible to abort a pregnancy at any stage unless there is a legitimate reason.
And what is that?
And within very precise limits.
And what is a legitimate
So sorry, is abortion now illegal?
Only in one situation.
There, is abortion now legal?
In one situation.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. So I was right all along. Obi, let's talk Obi. Let's talk Obi. Come on, Obi.
All right, get it up, get it up.
So Obi, I'd like to ask you a question. Right?
I can't ask you any questions.
We'll do. How about Obi? How about we do question for question? Is that fair?
Well, hang on a minute. I thought we decided not to touch each other.
Yeah, agreed. You're right.
Have we
No. I was in the wrong. I'm sorry. So Obi, shall we do question for question?
Sure. I'm assuming you'll start.
Yeah, go on then. Let me just get out my Quran. Bear with me.
Just wait. We're just getting up our stuff.
Toe Obi.
No. I tried to come onto his live the other day. He didn't let me on. What happened?
I don't remember, bro.
To be fair, he had some high-level people on. He didn't want to bring us.
Oh wait, was that? No, it was because you know what it was.
Yeah.
I bought the wrong StreamYard, and I had 9 panel members, and the one that I bought only allowed me an extra person, so I had to do it one at a time. Classic schoolboy error.
Forgiven.
Classic schoolboy error. Of course, Obi, I would have loved to have you on. Would have loved to have you on. So Obi, I got a question for you. Where are we going to go? Let's see. Right. So here's my question. Right. The 5 pillars of Islam are basic Islam. And Muslims come to this park every single week and they always say, show me this, and they want the exact words. And you've done it to me as well.
I don't recall.
Yes, I have.
I would never do that.
Yes, you have. Obi's a liar. He's a first-rate liar.
I'm a liar, guys.
Yes, he is a first-rate liar.
Yes.
But Obi has even done to me, show me in these words where Jesus says, I am God.
I've never done that. I would never use a God argument. It's obvious they call him God in the Gospel of John.
There we go.
What is before
Good.
Abraham was
Obi's advanced. Obi's advanced in his knowledge.
I believe that.
So my point to you is, using that kind of logic.
Weak polemic.
It is a weak polemic, and I hope all you Muslims are listening. It is a weak polemic.
There's many more you can go to.
So my question to you is, where is the Quran's injunction that you should say the Shahada to become a Muslim?
That's a good question, Bob. Actually, Bob, as a Sunni Orthodox Muslim, we believe something a bit different. I'm not a Quranist. I don't believe in just the Quran. I also believe, to follow the way of the Prophet ﷺ, that they have hadith. We have hadith that we follow, authentic hadiths, that mention very clearly that there are 5 pillars of Islam, and these are the things you need to do in order to affirm your belief and be a good Muslim and enter paradise.
Yeah.
Next question.
Okay, so did you all hear him make the appeal? Oh wait, I thought we were doing question for question. I want to be fair. Do you want to ask a question, or shall I ask another question?
You can stay on this for a bit until you feel satisfied.
Okay. Well, I doubt you're going to satisfy me.
Oh, yeah.
So his argument is, as a Sunni Orthodox Muslim, I don't believe in the Quran alone. I just believe in the Hadiths.
No, I didn't say just believe in. I said believe in the Hadith as well.
Hadiths as well. Yeah, that's fine. Right. But Muslims themselves don't agree about which Hadiths to believe in. For instance, Many of the hadiths that he believes in come from Aisha. But the Shia accuse Aisha of being a liar. They say that Aisha lied to the Prophet about the smell on his breath to stop him from going to one of his wives because he used to drink a honey drink. And so for that reason, they reject Aisha as a source of authentic hadiths.
But they
So
accept
my
that
question,
hadith in Bukhari. But they accept that hadith in
when they're
Bukhari,
using
so-
it as a polemic, yes, they use it. So my question to you is, on what basis, why should I believe your hadiths and not the Shia hadiths?
Oh, well, because, Bob, as Sunni Muslims, we've believed in the 6 canonical books for well over 1,300 years.
So not
you know?
1400 then?
No, not 1,400.
And
no.
isn't it actually 1200?
Well, Bukhari was born in the late 700s, so he would have still been within that sort of.
But his book was
remit.
not accepted as canonical until 100 years after his death.
I don't know where you got that from, because actually Ahmed ibn Hanbal, who was a contemporary of him, actually accepted it and said it was better than Imam Malik's Muwatta. So I don't know what this man is talking about. He's clearly probably drank too much of
I'm
Eucharist
sorry.
this morning. I don't know. I'm not
No,
too sure.
I'm sorry, but Imam Bukhari was considered a deviant in his own time.
According to who? Give me the evidence.
According
Give me
to
the scope
Muslim
evidence.
sources.
Give me the evidence.
According to Muslim sources. According to the biographies of Imam Bukhari. He was
What?
considered a deviant.
What is that called then?
He was considered a deviant by
who?
his own generation, by his own town, because he was accused.
Because the Mu'tazila.
Yeah, because well, I'm not.
The Mu'tazilites.
I'm not saying it was the
They were
Mu'tazilites.
heretics themselves.
No,
What are you talking
that again. This is Islam bid'ah building on bid'ah, because the Mu'tazilites were rejected post Muhammad. Their doctrines were rejected post Muhammad.
Because they came about post Muhammad.
So you haven't actually given me any reason. Finish your answer. What is your reason why I should believe the 6 canonical hadiths as opposed to the Shia hadiths?
Because by the way, historians, right, they themselves actually agree on the veracity of these hadiths. It's
No, they
actually
don't.
only a fringe group of academics.
No, they don't.
Joseph Goltzer.
That's a lie.
Are you not going to let me finish?
Go on.
Joseph Goltzer is one of them, and there's another one of his students. But the majority of scholars either take one of two positions, right? They say either they wholeheartedly accept that actually, you know what, hadiths are quite reliable because the way the transmission works. They were obviously corroborated because they came in different places. You have the same hadith being said in Yemen, that would be said in Mecca, Medina, in Basra, in Kufa, in Al-Andalus, in Fustat in Egypt, in Tunis, in Carthage. They'd be saying the exact same things, exact same hadiths. Even we have Imam Malik's Muwatta, the manuscript, you can look at this at IslamicAwareness.com. It was found in Morocco, and we know that it came from Al-Andalus, right? And when was Al-Andalus established? 700s, right? So, and it's been dated to the life of Imam Malik, his Muwatta, right? So we know that these hadiths are veracious, and the other opinion is actually, a lot of scholars take the middle view, that yes, we can accept it, but there may be some things that we don't accept. This is, by the way, atheist scholars, they say that, right?
Okay,
His
can I
position
reply?
is a fringe position.
Can I reply? Firstly, the salesman technique that you heard is it's called the non-Mancunian fallacy. No real scholar would say that, but the reality is he already acknowledges that there's a number of scholars that doubt the veracity of hadiths. And the reason why they doubt veracity of hadiths is for the following. There are hadiths that contradict one another when they're talking about the same thing. There are hadiths that Muslims even admit, and the Muslim community knows, that when the Abbasids overthrew the Umayyads, or the Umayyads overthrew the Abbasids, I can't remember which way it went round.
Abbasids overthrew the
Yeah,
Umayyads.
when the Abbasids overthrew the Umayyads, they created thousands of fake hadiths to justify what they did, and to justify their position, and to villainize the previous empire. In fact, at the time when these hadiths were being collected, Sahih al-Bukhari is supposedly said to have compiled, sifted 2 million hadiths,
Correct.
and then come up with his hadith collection of just over 2,000.
It's not 2 million.
Now, the reality is, ladies and gentlemen, that that's pious myth about Imam Bukhari. He never did that. It never happened. But that is an Islamic story about Imam Bukhari. The fact of the matter is, there are countless numbers of fake hadiths. And the way that you get a hadith to be accepted is you just identify an isnad chain that's already accepted, and then you stick your story on top of it. Nothing is to stop, one second, nothing is to stop the base of the chain of isnad
from being the one who invented. Sorry, we're having a debate.
So I just want to say one thing to you. I wanted you to speak freely about your belief back there.
Yeah.
And I didn't want you to feel like you had to justify it against Islam. I reverted to Islam 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I told you I'm agnostic because I wanted to hear your position on it.
Yeah.
I am going to read the book
Yeah.
that you gave me.
So you lied to me.
I lied to you.
There you go.
Because I wanted you
Takir.
to...
It's all right. Muslims.
I wanted
Takir.
you to-
Takir. That's okay. He lied to me. He lied to me.
He doesn't know what that
At
is,
least
mate.
he lied. Well, he's not. He lied.
What were you previously?
He lied.
What were you previously? Sikh, yeah?
Right. So
By
he.
the way, he's a bit
so-
racist. He said that.
Really,
he's been a
really,
Muslim.
really.
Asian.
Throwing out the race card. Throwing out the race. Brother, do you think I'm racist? Do you think I'm racist? Black, Latino, do you think I'm racist? There you go. Where you from, bro? Indian. So there you go. Asian, black, Latino, all saying I'm not racist. So he just lied, and he just lied.
I got to go back.
And here's this brother. Do you think I'm racist? No. Yeah. Right. So there you go. There you go.
To another conversation.
Takia, you're a liar, my friend. You're a liar.
I wanted you to know
You're a
because I
liar.
wanted to hear yours.
You're a liar.
And I'm
I'm
going
not-
through every one of the
Yeah.
Christian Bibles as well.
Yeah.
And I want to come and
Can I ask you a
debate
question?
talk
Would
to
you
I wanna
would
ask
you have
a
lied like that as a Sikh?
I want to. It
No.
depends because the way you were
No.
saying yes, because the way you were asking my questions,
Yeah.
answering them, right?
Yeah.
You were a bit more like, well, this is the Islamic way, and then I know you guys believe it like this, but
Yeah.
I want you to tell me your views because I'm a truth seeker.
Well, let's talk
want
again.
you to- yeah, definitely.
But the way
So
you
I'm
start.
going to read.
But can I give you a bit of Christian advice?
I'm going to read.
Can I give you a
yes,
bit of
yes,
Christian
yes, yes.
advice?
Well, I want you to know
The
I'm
way
gonna
to
read.
be a truth seeker is by starting to value truth in everything you say and do.
Fair enough.
You can't be a truth seeker until you honour the truth by speaking it.
100% true, and I apologize to you.
Apology
I
accepted.
apologize to you
All
for
right.
mine. And I want you to know
Yeah,
as well,
yeah,
I'm going to read
Okay.
the Bibles, and I want
Yeah, have a
to you,
read.
yeah?
Come back and talk to me again. You're more than welcome.
Thank you very much.
God bless you.
What's your
Take
name?
care.
Upon the truth,
Bob.
don't worry about this.
Right.
Don't worry about this, my friend.
So, the reason. Tell me, how do Muslims justify who's trustworthy and who isn't trustworthy?
No problem. So we have isnads, we have early isnads, early transmissions of hadith that go all the way back, even to Imam Abu Hanifa. He even collated a compiled hadith. Even before him, Sufyan ibn Thawri, he was another one. So we have a lot of evidence of hadiths that were compiled
away, Siraj.
way before Bukhari, way before. But Bukhari obviously wasn't someone making things up. He was just collecting the isnads, collecting the hadiths that were already in circulation. Bob has no evidence to present what is. It's all sophistry with Bob. He has no evidence. He's just going to make claims. That's all it's going to be, right? I'd like him to provide the evidence, first of all, of the hadiths that contradict one another, right? And if they do contradict each other, how is that in any way an attack on their veracity when your New Testament contradicts each other in almost every single story?
Does that
every
mean
event?
does that mean that the New Testament, because of these prima facie contradictions, it can't be trusted?
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying you're
Good.
trying to.
He's
you're
abandoned
trying to-
two Islamic polemics.
Oh, I'm just no. Actually, no. It's. I know that some of you don't believe it to be the inerrant word of God. No problem. Other Christians would actually call you a heretic, and you'd be burned at the stake, right? It's before Christianity lost the power.
Again, these are just claims.
No, but it's true. You don't believe in biblical inerrancy, so you are a heretic seen as a heretic by majority of Christians in the world.
Let's have a look. Right. So he asked me to show synoptic problems inside the hadith. So let's go and find some. Bear with us.
And maybe we can get some ones up for the New Testament.
Right. Now,
I don't have to refer to anything.
no.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute. Let me find it.
Oh yeah, go on, man. Yeah.
So then I can pick you both up well.
Of course. Thanks. Don't want to be left out.
Right. So, reading from Sahih al-Bukhari, Book 4, Hadith 66. Anas said, the Prophet asked for water and a tumbler with a broad base and not so deep, I guess there's a spelling mistake there, containing a small quantity of water was brought to him, whereby he puts his fingers in it. Anas further said, notice the water springing out from amongst his fingers. Anas added, estimated that the people who performed ablution with it numbered between 70 to 80. Okay, so let's look at Hadith 461. Bear with us.
Which book?
We're Sahih al-Bukhari.
Again, Bukhari, yeah?
Yes, again, Bukhari. Bear with us. It was the time for prayer, and those whose house were near got up and went to their people and there remained some people. Then a painted stove pot containing water was brought to Allah's messenger. The pot was small, not broad enough for one to spread one's hand in it, yet all the people performed ablution. We asked Anas, how many persons were you? Anas replied, we were 80 miracles of Allah. So these stories have differences, the kind that we find in the Synoptic Gospels, given by different perspectives.
My friend, nobody believes Bukhari is in the same level as the Quran. No one believes that it's infallible. Yes, it is. It can be taken. It can be trusted, of course.
So Sahih,
Sahih
doesn't mean Sahih.
It does. The difference means.
So how can you have two reliable contradictory reports?
I'll tell you now. The Sahih indicates that it most definitely came from these individuals. Will they differ in what they saw? Yes, people get numbers wrong all the time. Hang on, there might be 50 people over there. Hang on, there could be 60. We don't know for sure, right? I'm not a human calculator, neither were they back then, right? This is not a theological problem. The essence of the hadith is what? To understand, and what Bob is failing to understand, is that there is a miracle that has taken place, where wudu has the water that was limited has actually allowed for multitudes of people to make wudu with. It's a miracle, like what Jesus did, Bob. Oh, sorry.
But we weren't touching.
Yeah, no touching. Sorry, no touching.
Right, so let me reply to this. So notice he's given a perfect defense for all the synoptic contradictions that he likes to point out. So bear that in mind.
I didn't say that.
We've shown a synoptic problem in a hadith, and his defense is, well, different people have different perspectives. Here's another synoptic contradiction amongst the hadiths. What was the last verse of the Quran to be revealed? Muslims have different hadiths that identify different last verses of the Quran. Well, they can't all be perfect.
Religion is the last verse.
No
one disagrees about that.
No, I'm sorry. He said no one disagrees. Let me show him that he's wrong. Let me show him that he's wrong. So I just want to. Now notice.
On this day, we've perfected your religion.
I'm going to show you you're wrong. I'm going to show you you're wrong. Bear with us 1 second. Right? Because you all heard him say no one disagrees. That's what he said.
I'm sorry if there's a fringe opinion. I know Bob loves the
Let's have a look.
I know Bob loves the fringe.
Let's have a look. Sahih scholars are apparently fringe. I'll pull it up for you. Bear with us.
I'm bearing.
Good. You're allowed to make whatever jokes you want, but then you've got to listen to the evidence.
Mm-hmm. Something you hate doing.
We'll ask you for some evidence in a minute, Bob.
Because we've been on, by the way, we've still been on Bob's question, just so everyone knows. We've been on Bob's question for quite a long time. Let's see if he reciprocates the courtesy and allows me to ask a question about his New Testament.
Right, bear with us. So I'm quoting from Islam QA. Right, now he laughs.
It's not a hadith.
It's a Salafist website run by a member of the ulama. Someone that his religion tells him to respect. I'll get that for you next. Right? So the question is, what was the last verse of the Quran? Here's his answer. Remember, this is an Islamic website, an Islamic scholar speaking.
I don't like this.
The scholars differed as to which was the last verse of the Quran to be revealed. And there are several views, as each of the scholars spoke of the conclusion to which his ijtihad led. And then he goes on to quote which of these last verses are. He quoted Surah 5, Ayah 3. But the Islam scholar points out that most of the scholars, so not a fringe opinion like he tried to pretend, but most of the Muslim scholars say that the last verse of the Quran was Al-Baqarah 2:281. And fear the day when you will be returned to Allah, then every soul will be compensated for what it earned, and they will not be treated unjustly.
The majority, yeah?
So that's the majority of scholars. So not like what he said.
There's majority.
Total contradiction to his laughter. Total contradiction to his mockery. Who's the fool now, ladies and gentlemen?
It's still a majority.
Who's the fool now?
It's still a majority that believe that. I
no,
could be wrong. It's not a problem.
But
the majority still believe that.
It doesn't stop there.
There is a consensus.
Doesn't stop there. Some Muslims say it's Al-Nisa, Surah 4:176. Others say that it is. Others say that it is 2:278. Some say that it's 2:281. So the reality is, Muslims don't have an agreement about what is their last verse.
What's the majority say?
So are you going to stick with the majority?
Of course I will.
Right.
The majority, of course.
So, okay. Well, you were dumb a minute ago.
Okay, fine. So
Al-Baqarah, we've now pinned it. He agrees with the majority of scholars that it is Al-Baqarah 22281.
Without any doubt.
Right.
If that's what they say, that's what they say. What's the problem?
Okay, now he says, what's the problem? Let me show you what the problem
Let's
is.
go. Get back to the hadith. Let's get back to the hadith.
No, I'm going to show you what the problem is. Why is this a problem that the hadiths disagree about what the final verse
He didn't
of the Quran
present
is?
any hadiths, by the way, just so you guys know. He read a website.
He
didn't present any hadiths.
Yes,
He didn't present any
these
hadiths.
are from Sahih al-Bukhari and other hadith companions. Unless he's trying to say that the scholars don't know what they're talking about and they're just making it up.
So quote what they're quoting.
So-
quote the information then.
so-
Don't just read Islam QA.
so, well, I'm
Come on,
trying to
Bob.
be brief.
This is poor Christian.
So why-
Christian Gandhist?
Why is this a problem? You asked me that question, so let me answer. Right? Is every verse of the Quran a blessing?
Of course.
Of course. Did you hear that? Every verse of the Quran is a blessing.
It's wahi. It's from Allah.
Right? It's wahi, it's from Allah. Okay? Now, listen to this. Surah 5, Ayah 3, the one that he originally went to, but now he's abandoned that position. Every Quranic verse is a blessing. Remember, he said that. He said, yes, this day I have perfected your religion for you, completed my favor or blessings upon you. So if Surah 5, Ayah 3 says that on this day, the perfect religion and the blessings is complete, then that means that it's complete even though the last ayah and verse of the Quran has
Doesn't
not
mean
been
that.
revealed.
Doesn't mean
That
that.
is a contradiction.
No, it's not.
That is a
Doesn't mean that at all,
contradiction.
my friend.
Tell me
that
what the
means-
contradiction is
what
and
that
then
means-
tell me why it's not a
There is
contradiction.
no contradiction, first of all.
Well, tell me
When Allah
what I
makes it-
think the contradiction is and then tell me why it's not a
You think
contradiction.
that because he said on that day that you're saying that there should be no more revelation after that day. Incorrect. What it's saying on that day, you now have what you need in order to have salvation. Right? The God of Abraham has made it very clear this is what you need to go to Jannah, to go to heaven. Right? If there are other verses, other things that come down, no problem. They are also a blessing of the Quran that Allah has revealed to humanity. But it is not something that will be contingent entirely. What at that point that was revealed is going to be what will get you to Jannah. Okay? The verses that come afterwards, he talked about Surah An-Nisa, there was a verse in Baqarah, those are fine. Those that could have come after as well. But what we understand is it's actually fine because on that day, what you need to know is here, right? You've received it. It's in your hearts, and you need to follow it as guidance in order to enter into heaven.
So wait 1 second. I want to land on this point and then we can swap topics, right? So you're saying that what was revealed in terms of Surah 5, Ayah 3 is the Sharia law was complete. What was haram and what was halal was halal. Is that fair?
Sure.
Am I mischaracterizing you?
Oh, it could be that. It could be among other things as well.
Right. Let's be honest. That's actually what the actual position is on Surah 5, Ayah 3, whether he knows it or not.
Well, what does the tafsir say?
Obi's
What does the
blurring.
tafsir on it?
Obi's blurring. Well, pull it up.
What's the tafsir say?
It's exactly what I've just
Is
said.
it? Consider Bob. Oh,
So,
I see, okay.
well, you
Bob's
pull
tafsir.
up a contradictory tasfir.
A what?
You pull up a contradictory tasfir to my tasfir.
That goes against you.
Right. Yes. Go on. Do it.
Okay. Get. Is it?
Right. So
Anyone can
let's
do it
be
if you
clear.
want. Tafsir
Let's be
5, go
clear.
ahead.
Let's be clear. Obi has just hung
5,
his religion. He's just hung it by a rope.
Ma'idah.
Now, why has he hung his religion, ladies and
Salah.
gentlemen? Because is killing an innocent life haram or halal?
An innocent life? Haram.
Yes, haram. Is a child an innocent life?
Yes, of course. You don't believe that, though.
According to Sharia law, when does life begin?
Life begins at conception, really.
Nope, that is not what Muslims say.
Ensoulment happens after 40 days. Some say 120 days.
When is abortion illegal?
Abortion is not legal in Islam. It's not allowed.
Abortion is legal in Islam.
No, it's not.
Right, and now I'm going to show you that Obi is once again lying. He's
No,
doing
the big
taqiyya.
tafsir.
He's doing taqiyya.
Tafsir.
A bit like the
Tafsir?
Sikh that turned up earlier. So let me quote some scholars.
سوي بالانجليزي عشان تشوف. Sorry, what were you saying? Yeah, well, I think we should move to.
No, we're going to finish this and then we'll move to the new
We'll be
topic.
here all day then on this
Okay.
on this topic.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you all heard him making it up on the spot. His ad hoc arguments. Oh, Islam forbids abortion. Did you? From conception, that's what he tried to say. Let me read Hawa Iqbal, Amin Habib, and Saad Amma,
Who are they?
who belong to. Now he's laughing again.
Who is that, bro?
So let me quote the journal that they are writing in, ladies and gentlemen.
Go to Islam
Let
QA
me
again.
let
Let's
me
see Islam
quote
QA
to
on
you
it.
the journal
to Islam
that
QA
they're
now.
writing from. It is a peer-reviewed journal. From listen, the Journal of British Islamic Association.
Bro, what does
A
University of Medina say? What does University
peer-reviewed
of Mecca say?
journal.
What do the scholars say?
And what
That's
does it
what
say?
University of Britain-
I'm going to read to him. He's rattled. That's why he's interrupting. Because he said
Adam,
something,
British,
and now I'm
British,
going to
British.
prove him wrong again, just like I did before.
Go on, go on. The British.
So
Iqbal.
let's
Iqbal's about to speak.
let's just look at what it says. Okay?
What does University of Medina say?
Right. So here's what they say. Many Islamic scholars stated that the soul enters the fetus at 120 days. Faqih ibn Abidin Rad al-Muhatta, considering the four main schools of thoughts within Sunni Islam, both the Hanafi and Shafi schools, as well as the Shiite jurisprudence, believe that ensoulment occurs around 120 days.
Fine.
On the other hand, the Maliki and Hanbali schools say that ensoulment occurs at 40 days. So when is ensoulment? Is it 40 or 120? When is murdering an innocent life haram or halal? After 40 days or after 120 days? Remember, he said, talking about Ayah 5, Surah 5, Ayah 3, that haram and halal were perfected. But murdering an innocent soul, Muslims have no clear guidance. Some say after 40 days it's haram, some say after 120 days it's haram. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, the four schools of legal jurisprudence do not agree. They're the ones that are deciding haram and halal, and therefore the religion was not perfected on that day like it claimed to be in Surah 5, Ayah 3. Yeah, go on.
Thank you. All right, boys. So, listen carefully. Did anybody here hear the word abortion anywhere? Nobody heard the word abortion. The only thing that was mentioned is when ensoulment takes place. I didn't hear abortion. Am I going deaf? Bloodfire, did you hear abortion?
No.
Right, anyway. So, nobody heard the word abortion mentioned once.
Coming
All
next.
He presented,
It's coming
all
next.
He presented
It's coming
was
next.
four different schools of thoughts and what they believed the day was for ensoulment. I'd really like Bob to get up Islam QA again and have a look at what these scholars of University of Medina have to say on the matter and whether they actually think abortion at any day is halal. The word abortion doesn't exist anywhere in our Islamic corpus. What is this man talking about? Again, I believe we have to boil this down to the fact. Maybe he had too much of his Lord's blood this morning. So he needs to make sure he understands what our corpuses say and what we believe as Muslims. It's basic. It's not about the schools of thoughts. What do the hadith say? How will we know when ensoulment takes place? Easy. Which is a stronger isnad? Which is more multiply attested? I thought he believed in the New Testament. I thought this man said multiple attestation is a way to prove the New Testament is veracious. Incorrect. He needs to stop drinking your man God's blood every Sunday in such quantities. Please, go ahead.
So ladies and gentlemen, right, now notice, when I first pulled up Islamic QA, he laughed and he mocked. Did you remember? Hopefully JC will do a screenshot back to that, him doing that. Right, bear with us. So I'm quoting from Islam QA. Right, now he laughs. But now all of a sudden, when I quoted Islamic Q&A and he laughed and he mocked and he said that's just a website, now he's just admitted I was quoting the scholars from Medina University. Do you see how his taqwa catches him out? He's so committed to lying. Taqiyya. Right, he's so committed to lying and mocking that he's tripping over his own lies and jokes. But he said, ladies and gentlemen, he said, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't quote abortion. There was a reason for that. So he could say the kind of nonsense that he said. Remember, he tried to tell me that abortion was illegal from conception. Well, we've proved him wrong on ensoulment. We've proved the fact that the hadiths disagree about the last verse, and it has theological implications, because if 5:3 is the last verse, the Quran is not in contradiction. If 5:3 is the last verse, there is a contradiction in the Quran. But here's what the law schools say about abortion. With regards to abortion before ensoulment, the juristic stance is varied. So in other words, they're disagreeing with one another about whether you can kill a baby. Juristic varied amongst the schools of thought. On one hand, Shafi and Hanafi allow abortion before ensoulment. Some Shia allow abortion up to 40 to 42 days, and Hanafi and some Shafi
What is this guy
allow
reading?
abortion
Bro,
up
what are
to
you reading?
120 days.
What is this guy reading, bro?
So the Shafi and Hanafi are saying that it is haram to carry out an abortion after 40 days, but the Hanafi and Shafi are saying that it's halal to commit abortion up to 120 days. That is a contradiction in law.
Was it hadith?
And yet, ladies
hadith?
and gentlemen,
Was it hadith?
and yet, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, they're rattled because they're losing. They're rattled because they're losing.
Oh, rattled.
He said, Surah 5, Ayah 3, was saying that all that you need for salvation was there. In other words, what is haram, what is halal, and what is wujud, and all the other legal concepts of Sharia law. And yet they can't agree about what's haram and what's halal on an important issue about taking the life of a child, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, go on, reply.
So notice, ladies and gentlemen, notice how the man Bob. No, let's move on.
Move on to the next. Move on to the next. Let's move on to the next.
No, let me one more, and then we're going to move on from this one, because we're going around in circles.
Well, I'll have a final comment on my topic, and
Okay,
you can
fine.
have a final comment on
All
yours.
right, no worries, no worries. Okay, so boys, notice, and ladies and gentlemen, notice how this man is refusing to give any evidence. He hasn't given a single hadith where it says that abortion is even legal. He hasn't even proven that point yet in Islam. Show me where Imam Abu Hanifa, show me where Imam Malik, Imam Shafi'i, Imam Ahmed ibn Hanbal, show me where any of them mentioned abortion. Abortion didn't exist 1300 years ago. What is this man talking about? Again, we have to attribute this to drinking too much of the Messiah's blood on a Sunday. He needs to be calm on a Sunday. He needs to take it in little bits. Okay, my friend Bob the Builder, you need to understand you've given no evidence for abortion being allowed in our religion. You've read off of some website, I don't know what it is. He's refusing to go to Islam QA because he knows what Islam QA will say, that abortion at any point is going to be illegal. It is not permissible. Just because ensoulment, that there's a difference of opinion about ensoulment, doesn't mean that you then can say, oh, abortion can now take place here. No, that's why when I said that a life begins at the conception in Islam is true. Ensoulment is different. Just because something isn't ensouled or a soul hasn't entered into it, doesn't mean that thing is not living. Okay, so the Islamic position is abortion is never allowed. No scholar from University of Medina, University of Mecca, any reputable scholar would ever say that any of the Imams, any hadith even mention the word abortion or killing a child. What does the Quran say? If you kill one person, innocent life, it's as if you killed all of humanity. Please, Bob, present your evidence and don't give me Iqbal again, please. Let's go.
Okay, so the hubris of Obi knows no ends. Firstly, let me just give him a history lesson. Abortion was being practiced since even before Christ. There are Greek medical manuscripts and Greek medical instruction books talking about how to carry out abortions. Poisons were drunk to carry out abortions. Sharp implements were used to carry out abortions. So Obi simply does not know. But he did say a challenge for me, challenge that I have answered in full, ladies and gentlemen. He said, go to Islam QA and quote to me what the scholars from Medina University. Why should I do this? Because what I'll read is that under no circumstances is abortion legal.
One circumstance.
Let me just read
Only
to
one.
you
Only one.
what Islam QA actually says about abortion.
It's easy. It'll be an easy response. I know what you're
If the
going to say.
pregnancy is aborted in the third stage, the mugda, when the embryo looks like a piece of meat with the limbs and features beginning to appear, which lasts for 40 days from the 81st to the 120th day, then there are two scenarios. This embryo does not have any human features, and the midwives or their attendants did not testify that this was the beginning of a human being. In this case, the ruling on abortion of this mugda is the same as the ruling on the abortion of the first two stages, and there are no rulings to be followed. So what is that first stage? Let's go to it.
Show the evidence.
If the pregnancy is aborted within the first two stages, so notice the scholar is saying abortion occurs. In other words, it's okay to abort.
Where does it say abortion is allowed?
If the pregnancy is aborted within the first two stages,
That's not what it says.
which results from the mixing of the two
You're
waters,
inserting, Bob.
the
You're
two
inserting.
waters, by the way, is a Quranic heresy. Error.
Heresy, it's a heresy,
I'm tired.
guys.
It is a heresy, but it's also an error because the Quran talks about women having a fluid that contributes to conception,
Incorrect.
which is not actually biologically true.
Incorrect.
It's an egg, not a
Incorrect.
fluid. But anyway, the scholar goes on, which the first 40 days after the embryo attaches itself to the womb, and the alakla clot, which is another Quranic error, the embryo is never a clot, stage where it turns into solid blood during the 40 days, which added up to a total of 80. Then in this case, it is aborted as a nufta or alaka. There is no ruling to be followed, and there is no scholarly dispute on this point. In other words, the scholar's saying it's okay to abort. So, Obi was wrong on what was the last ayah of the Quran, and Obi was wrong about what the scholars say about abortion. I've quoted a Muslim document that is peer-reviewed by the British Medical Association, written by Muslims who quote Muslim scholars. I've quoted
That's not a source.
scholars
That's
from
not
the
a source.
Islamic University of Medina, and all that Obi has is childish, immature
It's comedy.
laughter,
It's comedy at this point.
ladies and
It's comedy.
gentlemen.
But I can't hold.
Where
you
is
accountable.
the scholar saying it's haram?
I can't hold
Read
you
it.
accountable,
Show
my
me
friend.
where it says it's haram.
Show me where it
Show-
says that abortion's allowed. Go on.
It's assuming
Show
it.
me where the scholars say
I'll read it
abortion
again.
is allowed.
Listen,
Ikra.
listen,
Abortion is allowed. Go on.
listen. Which add up to a total of 80 days. Then in this case, if it is aborted as a nufta or alaka, there are no rulings.
There are no rulings. It doesn't mean that abortion is allowed.
So show me,
The scholars are
show me
one
where they
second,
say
I'm
it's
telling you
haram.
now. The scholars are speaking to a situation. If it has taken place, then this is the ruling for that. That there is to be no execution. There is to be no those rulings in place. Right? That's all the scholars are saying. No one has ever said that abortion is legal in Islam. No one's ever said that. Those who do say it, Iqbal, I don't know who this is, right? They are basically saying, or they're speaking to this day, if it takes place. If it takes place, there is no injunction upon that person by the Sharia. That's all that's being said. Nowhere, he'll never bring you any evidence where any hadith or even any of the four scholars say, yes, abortion is allowed. He's laughing. I don't blame him. He's slightly drunk. It was the Holy Communion today. It's not his fault, right? He
Just mockery. That's all he's got.
believes that
No
he's supposed
arguments.
to drink the blood of the Messiah. Where he got that from, I have no clue.
Where is the
Anyway,
scholar saying that it's
But
haram?
anyway,
Show me.
Where's the scholar saying that's halal?
I'll just read it to you now.
Go on.
Right, again, from Islam QA.
Listen carefully, ladies and gentlemen.
Listen, because he's going to jump on the first phrase.
Go on.
And he's going to laugh at
Go
the
on.
first phrase.
Yeah.
But he's going to ignore the second
Of
one.
course, go on.
Okay, let's see.
It is not permissible to abort a pregnancy at any stage unless
What?
Unless there is a legitimate reason.
And what is that?
And within
And what is
very
that?
precise limits.
And what is a legitimate
So sorry, is abortion now illegal?
Only in one situation.
There, is abortion now legal?
In one situation.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. So I was right all along.
That's not abortion.
I was right all along.
Allow me to
I
respond.
was right all along,
No,
ladies and
he doesn't want me
gentlemen.
to
Thanks,
respond. He
Obi.
doesn't want me to
Thanks,
respond.
Obi.
It's fine. No, let me respond. No, let me respond. No. Listen. Look, it's not an abortion. Why? Because even the Jews believe this, right? They listen carefully, don't laugh.
We've gone from abortion is haram to abortion is allowed.
Guys, if you want to know why the Holocaust took place, look at Christianity. But anyway,
Really?
forget
Really?
that. Forget that.
Obi's lost it. Obi's lost it.
Of course. Listen.
Who sided with the
reason
Nazis
why-
in World War
the reason why-
II? Muslims in Europe.
No, they didn't.
The SS had Nazi brigades full of Muslims from
The
Albania.
Nazis were Christian. The Nazis were Christian anyway. They believed
They
in
were
non-denominational-
neo-pagans. Anyway, go on.
No, they weren't. Anyway.
He's rattled, ladies
The
and
reason
gentlemen.
why
It's all
not
right, it
abortion-
gets worse.
the reason
In
why
the
it's
next
not
part, it
abortion-
gets worse.
The reason why it's not an abortion is because when you are, remember, it's even in Christianity, right? And
No,
that's
it's
why
not.
a lot of Christians believe it's a
No,
lie.
it's not.
I'll tell you why. The only way an abortion can take place is if the mother's life is in danger. Then it's no longer abortion, it is self-defense. Are you allowed to defend yourself in Christianity?
Okay, let me correct him with his own
Yes.
scholars.
No, wait. Turn the other cheek.
Let me just read
Yeah.
the Islamic scholars from Medina University and see if it marries up with what Obi's hubris has just said.
Let's go.
If the pregnancy is in the first stage, which is a period of 40 days, and aborting it serves a legitimate purpose, so the scholars are calling it abortion, unlike what Obi's saying, listen,
I said
or
the
will
imams.
ward
I
off
said the
harm,
imams.
then it is permissible to abort it. But aborting it at this stage for fear of difficulty of raising children or being unable to bear the cost of maintaining and educating them, or fear for their future, or because of the couple that they have enough children,
Nope, not
this
allowed.
is not permissible.
Thank you.
So I was
Hey!
right. I was right. This is just
Clown,
all
bro.
he's got is
Circus is
sophism.
that way, Bob.
His scholars literally
that way,
call it abortion, and he's trying to
Bob,
say
it's finished.
it isn't abortion. And the reason why this is a problem,
Talking about it.
let us remember, and we're going to change topics now.
Alright.
So this is my final comment before we change topic.
Alright.
The reason why this is a problem
Why?
is because Surah 5, Ayah 3 says, on this day I have perfected your religion and completed my blessings upon you and chosen your religion for you to be Islam. And that means that he quotes that everything necessary for doing haram and halal is there at that point on that day. But Muslims can't agree and do not agree about whether you can do abortions up to 40 days or up to 120 days. And so it is a contradiction of fact that the religion was perfected, that everything that was necessary for haram and halal was there at the time of that day that it was supposedly perfected. And that, my friend, is why the hadith differences about the last verse of the Quran does have theological consequence.